Hey, could you use some good news? Well, let's start with this. 7 weeks ago, at the end of the first video in this series, I cited Nate Silver's 538 election forecast and its prediction that Mitt Romney would lose the U.S. presidential election and Barack Obama would win a second term by a comfortable margin. Well, 7 days ago, that's exactly what happened. Silver's forecast model correctly predicted the winner of all 50 states. Watching the returns come in on election night, it was thrilling to see the results breaking exactly as forecast. Of course, the 538 model didn't get it exactly right because President Obama's lead in a few key states was so razor thin going into the election. The model actually predicted that he would win slightly fewer electoral votes, 313, than he actually did, 332. But hey, nobody's perfect. Here's some more good news coming out of the election. Now that we know who's going to be in charge around here for the next 4 years, Space.com is reporting that NASA is set to announce its plans to establish a new manned presence on the dark side of the moon. The mission, which hasn't been officially announced yet, wouldn't be to establish a colony on the lunar surface, like the Clavius base in 2001: A Space Odyssey, say, but rather to park a spacecraft beyond the moon at the second Earth-Moon Lagrange point, also known as L2. Lagrange, or libration points, are positions in two-body systems where the gravitational influences of both bodies are balanced. A spacecraft placed at Earth-Moon L2 would essentially park there and maintain that same position relative to the Earth and the Moon. Earth-Moon L2 is already the site of NASA's WMAP probe, which measures the cosmic microwave background radiation, and it would also be the site of the James Webb Space Telescope if they ever get to launch that. So Earth-Moon L2 could wind up being a pretty popular spot. It would also be the furthest point away from Earth that humans have ever traveled, and the manned outpost there could serve as a launching pad for further manned missions to near-Earth asteroids or eventually to the planet Mars. So, sounds great, guys. Do it! Speaking of space adventures, since it was purchased by Disney 2 weeks ago, Lucasfilm has moved quickly to get the ball rolling on its just-announced Star Wars sequel trilogy. Last week, the company announced that it has hired a writer for the new Star Wars films, and that writer is Michael Arndt. Personally, I think this is an outstanding choice. Arndt is an Oscar-winning screenwriter. He's hot right now, having scripted Toy Story 3 and the upcoming second Hunger Games film, which I couldn't give less of a fuck about. And most importantly, he wrote one of my favorite films of the last 10 years, Little Miss Sunshine. Arndt was apparently brought on board before the Disney sale and has written treatments for all 3 films of the new trilogy. In other words, he's the reason Disney could announce Episode 7 the second they bought the company. Now, who's going to direct this fucking thing? President Obama gets reelected as predicted. NASA looks set to shake off the cobwebs and get back to the business of manned space exploration. And Star Wars gets a great writer to script its comeback. That's the good news.